Right now, at this very moment, the most dangerous Arctic air mass in years is racing toward the United States. And what I'm about to show you is not just another winter storm forecast. This is a complete hour-by-hour timeline of exactly when bone-chilling temperatures will hit your city, when the next wave of snow arrives, and which communities will face the longest period of freezing conditions in over a decade. In the next 25 minutes, you will get precise timing for over 70 major cities across America. You'll know exactly when to expect temperatures 20 degrees below zero, which highways will become impassable, and I'll reveal something at minute 5 that weather models just confirmed 30 minutes ago that changes everything we thought about this pattern. But first, let me show you what just happened across the South, because the devastation is far worse than initial reports suggested. Nashville, Tennessee is experiencing a catastrophic infrastructure crisis right now. 90% of the city remains without power. Not 50%, not 70%, 90%. Trees that stood for over 100 years have snapped like toothpicks. Power lines are down across entire neighborhoods. And here's what nobody is talking about. With another Arctic blast arriving in just 48 hours, many of these communities won't have power restored before temperatures plunge again. Let me be absolutely clear about what I'm seeing in the data right now. This is not one Arctic blast. This is a relentless pattern of bone-chilling air that will impact the United States for at least the next 10 days. We're looking at multiple waves of Arctic air, each one reinforcing the last, keeping temperatures dangerously cold across more than 30 states. And here's your first reward for watching. In exactly 2 minutes and 15 seconds, I'm going to reveal which major cities will see temperatures colder than Anchorage, Alaska this week. The list will shock you. Right now, let's talk about what's happening this very hour. The winter storm that devastated the South is finally moving offshore, but freezing rain and heavy snow continue to pound New England. Boston is about to get slammed with 12 to 14 inches of additional snow on top of what's already fallen. Hartford, Connecticut, Providence, Rhode Island, and Portland, Maine are all in the crosshairs for at least 12 inches more. But here's what concerns me most. As this storm moves away, it's leaving behind a landscape covered in ice and snow just as the coldest air in years arrives. Snow and ice that would normally melt within a day or two will remain frozen solid for at least 5 to 7 days, maybe longer. Let me paint you a picture of exactly how cold it's about to get. And I want you to comment below right now with your city name, because I'm going to give you specific timing for your location. Tonight, right now, temperatures are already plummeting across the South. Atlanta, Georgia will drop to 28 degrees Fahrenheit by midnight. That might not sound extreme, but here's the problem. There's still liquid water on roadways from melting ice. When temperatures drop below 32 degrees tonight, that water will freeze into what's called black ice, an invisible layer of ice that causes vehicles to lose control without warning. Huntsville, Alabama faces the same threat. 26 degrees by 2 o'clock in the morning. Birmingham, Alabama, 24 degrees. Memphis, Tennessee, 22 degrees. Little Rock, Arkansas, 18 degrees. But that's just tonight. Tomorrow morning brings the real Arctic punch. Dallas, Texas will wake up to 8 degrees Fahrenheit. Oklahoma City, 4 degrees. Wichita, Kansas, 0 degrees. Kansas City, Missouri, 2 degrees below zero. St. Louis, Missouri, 4 degrees below zero. Indianapolis, Indiana, 6 degrees below zero. Cincinnati, Ohio, 8 degrees below zero. Columbus, Ohio, 7 degrees below zero. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, 9 degrees below zero. And the wind chill? That's where this becomes truly dangerous. Wind chill values tomorrow morning will make it feel like 20 degrees below zero across the entire Midwest and Ohio Valley. Now, you might be thinking, okay, it's cold tomorrow morning, but it'll warm up during the day, right? Wrong. Here's what the models are showing, and this is critical information. Monday afternoon, most cities across Tennessee, Arkansas, Oklahoma, and Texas will not get above freezing. Not even close. Nashville, Tennessee, high of 29 degrees. Knoxville, Tennessee, 30 degrees. Chattanooga, Tennessee, 31 degrees. Memphis, Tennessee, 32 degrees, right at freezing, but not warm enough to melt ice. Little Rock, Arkansas, 33 degrees. Tulsa, Oklahoma, 34 degrees. Oklahoma City, 35 degrees. Dallas, Texas, 36 degrees. Fort Worth, Texas, 36 degrees. You see the pattern? These are afternoon highs, the warmest part of the day, and none of it is warm enough to make a real dent in the ice accumulation. Tuesday doesn't improve. In fact, for many locations, Tuesday might be even colder. Nashville, high of 30 degrees. Louisville, Kentucky, 31 degrees. Lexington, Kentucky, 29 degrees. Evansville, Indiana, 30 degrees. But here's where it gets interesting, and this is the information I promised you at minute 5. Weather models just updated within the last hour, and they're now showing a secondary Arctic push that arrives Thursday night into Friday. This wasn't in the forecast 24 hours ago. This is brand new data. What this means is that just as temperatures were finally going to moderate this weekend, just as we were going to get above freezing long enough to melt the ice, another blast of even colder air arrives. This second wave could be more intense than the first. Let me give you the city-by-city breakdown for this second Arctic blast, because the timing is crucial. Thursday night, temperatures crash again. And I mean crash. We're talking about a temperature drop of 20 to 30 degrees in just 6 hours across the southern plains. By Friday morning, here's what we're looking at. Amarillo, Texas, 0 degrees. Lubbock, Texas, 4 degrees. Abilene, Texas, 6 degrees. Wichita Falls, Texas, 8 degrees. Dallas, Texas, 12 degrees. Houston, Texas, 28 degrees. San Antonio, Texas, 32 degrees. Arkansas gets hammered. Fort Smith, 6 degrees. Fayetteville, 2 degrees. Little Rock, 10 degrees. Jonesboro, 8 degrees. Louisiana faces freezing temperatures. Shreveport, 18 degrees. Monroe, 20 degrees. Baton Rouge, 34 degrees. New Orleans, 38 degrees. Mississippi will be brutally cold. Jackson, 22 degrees. Tupelo, 18 degrees. Meridian, 24 degrees. Hattiesburg, 28 degrees. Alabama, Birmingham, 24 degrees. Montgomery, 28 degrees. Mobile, 34 degrees. Huntsville, 20 degrees. Tennessee gets hit hard again. Memphis, 18 degrees. Nashville, 20 degrees. Knoxville, 22 degrees. Chattanooga, 24 degrees. Georgia, Atlanta, 26 degrees. Macon, 30 degrees. Augusta, 28 degrees. Savannah, 34 degrees. Columbus, 28 degrees. South Carolina, Columbia, 30 degrees. Charleston, 36 degrees. Greenville, 26 degrees. North Carolina, Charlotte, 28 degrees. Raleigh, 30 degrees. Greensboro, 26 degrees. Asheville, 22 degrees. Now let's move to the Midwest and Great Lakes, because this is where the cold becomes absolutely relentless. Friday morning temperatures. Chicago, Illinois, 8 degrees below zero. Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 10 degrees below zero. Minneapolis, Minnesota, 18 degrees below zero. Des Moines, Iowa, 12 degrees below zero. Omaha, Nebraska, 10 degrees below zero. Sioux Falls, South Dakota, 22 degrees below zero. Fargo, North Dakota, 28 degrees below zero. Bismarck, North Dakota, 30 degrees below zero. Michigan faces extreme cold. Detroit, 6 degrees below zero. Grand Rapids, 8 degrees below zero. Lansing, 7 degrees below zero. Flint, 7 degrees below zero. Marquette, 12 degrees below zero. Ohio Valley, Cleveland, Ohio, 4 degrees below zero. Toledo, Ohio, 5 degrees below zero. Akron, Ohio, 3 degrees below zero. Dayton, Ohio, 2 degrees below zero. Indiana, Indianapolis, 6 degrees below zero. Fort Wayne, 7 degrees below zero. Evansville, 2 degrees. South Bend, 9 degrees below zero. Illinois beyond Chicago, Rockford, 10 degrees below zero. Peoria, 8 degrees below zero. Springfield, 6 degrees below zero. Wisconsin beyond Milwaukee, Madison, 12 degrees below zero. Green Bay, 14 degrees below zero. Eau Claire, 16 degrees below zero. La Crosse, 14 degrees below zero. Iowa beyond Des Moines, Cedar Rapids, 14 degrees below zero. Sioux City, 16 degrees below zero. Waterloo, 15 degrees below zero. Davenport, 10 degrees below zero. Missouri, Kansas City, 8 degrees below zero. Springfield, 4 degrees. Columbia, 6 degrees below zero. St. Joseph, 9 degrees below zero. Nebraska, beyond Omaha. Lincoln, 11 degrees below zero. Grand Island, 13 degrees below zero. North Platte, 15 degrees below zero. Kansas, Wichita, 0 degrees. Topeka, 2 degrees below zero. Manhattan, 4 degrees below zero. Dodge City, 2 degrees. Now, the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic. This region is dealing with two problems simultaneously: massive snow totals from the current storm and the incoming Arctic blast. Current snow totals as of right now: Burlington, Vermont, 18 inches. Albany, New York, 22 inches. Syracuse, New York, 26 inches. Buffalo, New York, 14 inches. Rochester, New York, 16 inches. Binghamton, New York, 20 inches. Massachusetts. Boston, 16 inches and still snowing, expecting 28 to 30 inches total. Worcester, 24 inches. Springfield, 20 inches. Connecticut. Hartford, 18 inches. New Haven, 16 inches. Bridgeport, 14 inches. Rhode Island. Providence, 16 inches. Warwick, 15 inches. New Hampshire. Manchester, 20 inches. Concord, 22 inches. Portsmouth, 18 inches. Maine. Portland, 24 inches. Bangor, 28 inches. Augusta, 26 inches. Lewiston, 24 inches. And here's the critical timing for the Northeast. This snow continues through tonight. The heaviest snow, another 6 to 8 inches, falls between 8 o'clock tonight and 4 o'clock tomorrow morning across interior New England. Then, just as the snow ends Monday afternoon, the Arctic air arrives Monday night. Tuesday morning temperatures across the Northeast: New York City, 12 degrees. Philadelphia, 14 degrees. Boston, 8 degrees. Hartford, 6 degrees. Providence, 8 degrees. Albany, 4 degrees below zero. Syracuse, 6 degrees below zero. Buffalo, 2 degrees below zero. Burlington, 8 degrees below zero. Portland, Maine, 4 degrees. Bangor, 6 degrees below zero. Baltimore, Maryland, 18 degrees. Washington, D.C., 20 degrees. Richmond, Virginia, 24 degrees. Norfolk, Virginia, 28 degrees. Delaware, Wilmington, 16 degrees. Dover, 18 degrees. New Jersey, Newark, 14 degrees. Trenton, 16 degrees. Atlantic City, 20 degrees. Pennsylvania beyond Philadelphia and Pittsburgh. Harrisburg, 12 degrees. Allentown, 10 degrees. Scranton, 8 degrees. Erie, 0 degrees. State College, 6 degrees. Now here's something that should concern everyone: wind chill values. Because the actual temperature is only part of the story, when you factor in wind, it feels even colder. And this is where frostbite becomes a serious threat. Friday morning wind chill values: Minneapolis, 40 degrees below zero. Fargo, 45 degrees below zero. Bismarck, 48 degrees below zero. Sioux Falls, 38 degrees below zero. Green Bay, 32 degrees below zero. Chicago, 26 degrees below zero. Detroit, 22 degrees below zero. Indianapolis, 24 degrees below zero. St. Louis, 20 degrees below zero. Kansas City, 22 degrees below zero. These are dangerous, life-threatening wind chills. Exposed skin can develop frostbite in less than 10 minutes. Now let me address something critical. When does this pattern break? When do temperatures finally return to normal? The honest answer is not until at least the second week of February. We are looking at 10 to 12 days of persistent cold. Not just one cold day followed by warming. Day after day after day of below normal temperatures. Here's the day-by-day breakdown for major cities. Dallas, Texas, Monday high 36 degrees, Tuesday high 38 degrees, Wednesday high 34 degrees, Thursday high 42 degrees, Friday high 28 degrees, Saturday high 32 degrees, Sunday high 38 degrees. Notice Friday? Temperatures actually get colder again, dropping from a high of 42 on Thursday back down to 28 on Friday. That's the second Arctic blast I mentioned. Atlanta, Georgia. Monday high 34 degrees, Tuesday high 38 degrees, Wednesday high 40 degrees, Thursday high 44 degrees, Friday high 36 degrees, Saturday high 40 degrees, Sunday high 44 degrees. Nashville, Tennessee. Monday high 29 degrees, Tuesday high 30 degrees, Wednesday high 36 degrees, Thursday high 40 degrees, Friday high 32 degrees, Saturday high 36 degrees, Sunday high 42 degrees. Chicago, Illinois. Monday high 18 degrees, Tuesday high 22 degrees, Wednesday high 16 degrees, Thursday high 24 degrees, Friday high 10 degrees, Saturday high 14 degrees, Sunday high 20 degrees. New York City. Monday high 26 degrees, Tuesday high 28 degrees, Wednesday high 32 degrees, Thursday high 36 degrees, Friday high 30 degrees, Saturday high 32 degrees, Sunday high 34 degrees. Detroit, Michigan. Monday high 16 degrees, Tuesday high 20 degrees, Wednesday high 14 degrees, Thursday high 22 degrees, Friday high 8 degrees, Saturday high 12 degrees, Sunday high 18 degrees. Now, the question everyone wants answered. Is there another winter storm coming? The short answer is possibly. And here's what the models are showing. Thursday and Friday of this week, there's a weak system that could produce light to moderate snow across Arkansas, Tennessee, Kentucky, and the mid-Atlantic states. This is not going to be a major storm like what we just experienced. But under that Arctic air mass, even light snow can accumulate quickly because it's too cold for it to melt. Potential snow amounts Thursday night into Friday. Little Rock, 2 to 4 inches. Memphis, 3 to 5 inches. Nashville, 4 to 6 inches. Louisville, 3 to 5 inches. Lexington, 4 to 6 inches. Charleston, West Virginia, 3 to 5 inches. Roanoke, Virginia, 2 to 4 inches. Charlottesville, Virginia, 3 to 5 inches. But here's where it gets really interesting. There's a potential coastal storm developing for next weekend, possibly Saturday night into Sunday. If this develops, we could see significant snow from Washington, D.C., up through Philadelphia, New York City, and into southern New England. It's too early to give specific snow amounts for that system because it hasn't even formed yet. But I want you to be aware that the pattern supports another storm. Now let's talk about what this means for specific impacts. Because temperatures are one thing, but how does this affect your daily life? Power outages. If you're in Tennessee, Mississippi, or Louisiana right now without power, the unfortunate reality is that restoration efforts are going to be severely hampered by this cold. Crews can work in cold weather, but when temperatures are in the teens and 20s, work slows down significantly. If you're currently without power, prepare for it to potentially be out for 5 to 7 more days. Travel. Highways across the South will remain hazardous through at least Thursday. Even though snow removal crews have been working around the clock, with temperatures staying below freezing, ice remains on many roads. Interstate 40 from Arkansas through Tennessee remains partially ice-covered. Interstate 24 in Tennessee has multiple stretches with ice. Interstate 35 in Oklahoma still has ice accumulation in spots. Interstate 44 in Missouri has reports of black ice. If you must travel in the next 72 hours, add at least 50% more time to your journey. A trip that normally takes 3 hours could take 4.5 to 5 hours. Schools. Many districts across the South and Midwest will remain closed through at least Wednesday. Some districts in Tennessee and Kentucky may not reopen until next Monday, which would mean a full week of closures. Agriculture. This cold is devastating for agriculture, particularly in Texas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas. Cattle ranchers are facing extreme challenges keeping livestock warm and fed. Water sources are freezing. The impact on agriculture from this event will be felt for months. Now, here's what you need to do in the next 24 hours. If you're in an area expecting temperatures below 20 degrees, Bring all outdoor pets inside. This is not optional. At these temperatures, animals can develop hypothermia quickly. Check on elderly neighbors. Seriously, make a phone call. Knock on their door. These temperatures are dangerous for older adults, especially if they're trying to conserve heat or if their heating system fails. Protect your pipes. Let faucets drip slightly to prevent freezing. Open cabinet doors under sinks to allow warm air to circulate around pipes. Charge all devices. If power goes out, you want fully charged phones, tablets, and portable batteries. Fill your gas tank. If you need to evacuate or if power outages affect gas stations, you want a full tank. Stock up on food that doesn't require cooking. If power goes out, you won't be able to use electric stoves. And here's something most people don't think about. Fill your bathtub with water before temperatures drop. If pipes freeze, you'll have water for flushing toilets. Let me give you specific timing for when the coldest air arrives in your region, because this is crucial for planning. Southern Plains, Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas. The first wave of Arctic air is already here. Peak cold Monday morning and Tuesday morning. Slight moderation Wednesday and Thursday. Second Arctic blast arrives Friday morning, with the coldest temperatures Friday night into Saturday morning. Southeast Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia. Already experiencing the first wave. Peak cold Tuesday morning. Gradual moderation Wednesday through Friday. Second wave arrives Saturday with coldest temperatures Saturday night into Sunday morning. Midwest, Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, Ohio, Wisconsin. First wave arrives Monday night. Peaks Tuesday morning. Remains very cold through Thursday. Second wave arrives Friday morning with peak cold Friday night and Saturday morning. Great Plains, Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa, Minnesota, Dakotas currently in deep freeze. Temperatures remain extremely cold through Thursday. Brief moderation Thursday afternoon. Second wave hits Friday morning with potentially the coldest temperatures of the entire event Friday night into Saturday. Northeast New York, Pennsylvania, New England. Arctic air arrives Monday night. Peak cold Tuesday and Wednesday mornings. Slight moderation Thursday. Another push of cold Friday and Saturday. Mid-Atlantic, Virginia, Maryland, Delaware, D.C. Cold air arrives Monday night. Coldest temperatures Tuesday and Wednesday mornings. Moderate slightly Thursday. Another drop Friday and Saturday. Now, I want to show you something that illustrates just how unusual this pattern is. I'm looking at temperature departures from normal, and what I'm seeing is remarkable. Minneapolis will be running 30 to 35 degrees below normal for 7 straight days. Chicago, 25 to 30 degrees below normal. Dallas, 20 to 25 degrees below normal. Atlanta, 15 to 20 degrees below normal. These aren't small departures. We're talking about temperatures that should occur in mid-January being experienced in late January, which is typically when we start to moderate towards spring. Here's another way to think about it. Dallas, Texas will be colder than Anchorage, Alaska on Friday. Let that sink in. A city that rarely sees single-digit temperatures will be 12 degrees while Anchorage is forecasted to be 16 degrees. Atlanta will be colder than Juneau, Alaska. Nashville will be colder than Seattle. Houston will be as cold as Portland, Oregon. The geography of cold is completely inverted. Now, comment below with your city name right now, and I'll follow up with specific details for your location. I'm monitoring the comments, and I'll reply to as many as possible over the next few hours. Let's talk about the snowfall forecast for Thursday and Friday, because while this won't be a major storm, snow is snow, and under Arctic air, it accumulates fast. Here are the cities with the best chance of measurable snow Thursday night into Friday. Texarkana, Arkansas, 2 to 3 inches. Hot Springs, Arkansas, 3 to 4 inches. Pine Bluff, Arkansas, 2 to 3 inches. El Dorado, Arkansas, 1 to 2 inches. Tennessee, Jackson, 3 to 4 inches. Clarksville, 4 to 5 inches. Cookeville, 5 to 6 inches. Murfreesboro, 4 to 5 inches. Cleveland, 3 to 4 inches. Kentucky, Bowling Green, 4 to 5 inches. Owensboro, 3 to 4 inches. Hopkinsville, 4 to 5 inches. Paducah, 3 to 4 inches. Madisonville, 3 to 4 inches. West Virginia, Huntington, 4 to 5 inches. Beckley, 5 to 7 inches. Bluefield, 6 to 8 inches. Parkersburg, 2 to 3 inches. Virginia. Bristol, 5 to 6 inches. Wytheville, 6 to 7 inches. Blacksburg, 5 to 6 inches. Lynchburg, 3 to 4 inches. North Carolina, Boone, 6 to 8 inches. Asheville, 4 to 5 inches. Hickory, 2 to 3 inches. Winston-Salem, 1 to 2 inches. These are preliminary numbers and will be updated as we get closer to the event. But if you're in these areas, be prepared for snow Thursday night. Now let's discuss the weekend coastal storm potential, because this could affect millions of people from Virginia to Maine. Current models show a low-pressure system developing off the Carolina coast Saturday morning. This system then moves northeast along the coast Saturday night and Sunday. The big question is, how close to the coast does it track? If it tracks within 100 miles of the coast, we're looking at significant snow from Richmond, Virginia, through Washington, D.C., Baltimore, Philadelphia, New York City, Hartford, and Boston. We're talking 6 to 12 inches of snow, possibly more in some locations. If it tracks 200 miles offshore, we get mostly clouds and maybe some light snow, mainly across eastern New England. Right now, the European model favors the offshore track. The GFS model favors a closer track. The Canadian model splits the difference. My lean at this point is toward a close enough track to produce at least some accumulating snow from DC to Boston, but I don't have high confidence in significant accumulation yet. We need another 24 to 48 hours of model runs to get a clearer picture. What I can tell you is this. If you're anywhere from Washington, D.C. to Boston, pay close attention to forecasts Friday and Saturday. This could develop into a significant storm, or it could stay far enough offshore to spare most areas. Either way, comment your city below and let me know if you want updates on this potential weekend storm. I'll be providing updates as we get new information. Here's what concerns me most about the overall pattern. We're seeing a persistent trough over the eastern United States. This is a big dip in the jet stream that allows Arctic air to plunge south. And every time we get a shortwave, a smaller disturbance moving through this trough, it creates snow chances. This pattern doesn't show signs of breaking down until at least February 8th or 9th. That's nearly 2 weeks from now. We could see multiple snow events during this time. Nothing massive like what we just experienced, but several smaller systems that each drop 2 to 6 inches of snow. Death by 1,000 cuts. That's the phrase meteorologists use for this type of pattern. It's not one devastating storm. It's storm after storm after storm, each one manageable on its own, but cumulatively exhausting and disruptive. Let me give you some historical context. The last time we saw a cold pattern this persistent was February 2014, the winter that became known as the polar vortex winter. That winter saw record cold and record snow across much of the eastern United States. Some cities received over 100 inches of snow for the entire winter. We're not forecasting 100 inches of snow this year, but the pattern similarity is striking. Multiple Arctic blasts, persistent cold, snow chances every few days. It's eerily similar. Now, some good news. The Pacific Northwest gets a break. After heavy rain early this week that could cause localized flooding in western Washington and Oregon, the pattern turns drier and slightly milder. Seattle will see highs in the mid-40s to near 50 degrees most of next week. Portland similar. This is actually near normal for late January. California also dodges the extreme cold. Los Angeles stays in the 60s and 70s. San Francisco in the 50s and low 60s. San Diego in the mid-60s. Even Sacramento only drops to the low 50s. The Southwest stays relatively mild as well. Phoenix will be in the 60s, warming to near 70 by the weekend. Las Vegas in the mid to upper 50s. Albuquerque will be cold at night, dropping into the teens, but daytime highs reach the 40s and low 50s. The Rockies will be very cold, especially at night. Denver drops to near zero Friday morning, with afternoon highs only in the mid-20s. Colorado Springs, near zero Friday morning, highs in the low 20s. Boulder, 2 degrees below zero Friday morning, highs in the mid-20s. Wyoming gets absolutely hammered. Cheyenne, 10 degrees below zero Friday morning, highs in the teens. Casper, 8 degrees below zero, highs near 20. Laramie, 12 degrees below zero, highs in the mid-teens. Montana faces extreme cold. Billings, 15 degrees below zero Friday morning. Great Falls, 20 degrees below zero. Missoula, 8 degrees below zero. Butte, 25 degrees below zero. Idaho, Boise. 10 degrees Friday morning, highs in the upper 20s. Idaho Falls. 10 degrees below zero Friday morning, highs in the teens. Pocatello. 8 degrees below zero. Highs in the low 20s. Utah. Salt Lake City. 8 degrees Friday morning. Highs in the upper 20s. Provo. 4 degrees. Highs in the upper 20s. Ogden. 6 degrees. Highs near 30. Now let's talk about record low temperatures, because several cities have a legitimate chance of breaking or tying daily record lows this week. Cities with the best chance of record lows Tuesday morning. Oklahoma City. Current forecast 4 degrees, record 2 degrees, set in 1990. Dallas. Current forecast 8 degrees, record 7 degrees, set in 1985. Little Rock. Current forecast 10 degrees, record 5 degrees, set in 1994. Memphis. Current forecast 18 degrees, record 12 degrees, set in 1966. Cities with the best chance of record lows Friday morning. Amarillo, current forecast 0 degrees, record 4 degrees below zero, set in 1962. Lubbock. Current forecast 4 degrees, record 2 degrees below zero, set in 1962. Des Moines. Current forecast 12 degrees below zero, record 15 degrees below zero, set in 1951. Sioux Falls. Current forecast 22 degrees below zero, record 28 degrees below zero, set in 1956. We probably won't break records in most locations, but the fact that we're even in the conversation tells you how cold this air mass is. Let me also address heating costs, because this is going to be expensive. Natural gas prices have already jumped 15% in anticipation of this cold. If you heat your home with natural gas, expect your February heating bill to be significantly higher than normal. We're talking 30 to 50% higher in some cases. If you heat with electricity, especially if you use a heat pump, be aware that heat pumps lose efficiency below about 30 degrees. Many systems have auxiliary electric heat that kicks on, which uses much more electricity. Your bill could double compared to a normal winter month. If you heat with propane or heating oil, make sure you have enough supply to last through at least the middle of next week. Don't let your tank get below 25%. Delivery times may be delayed due to high demand. Wood stove users. Make sure you have adequate dry firewood. Wet or green wood won't heat efficiently and creates dangerous creosote buildup. Now, I promised at the beginning of this video that I would reveal something brand new that just came in from the models. Here it is. The European model's latest run, which came out just 40 minutes ago, is now showing the potential for a third Arctic blast around February 4th through 6th. This would be the week after next. If this materializes, we're looking at 3 separate Arctic intrusions in a span of 2 weeks. This is highly unusual and would cement this late January, early February period as one of the coldest on record for many locations. The good news is that this third potential blast is still 10 to 12 days away, which means there's a lot of uncertainty. The bad news is that even if it doesn't happen, the pattern remains cold through at least the first week of February. Let me give you the bottom line for planning purposes. Expect persistent cold from now through at least February 8th. Expect at least 2 definite Arctic blasts, possibly 3. Expect multiple chances for snow, none individually major but cumulatively significant. Expect travel disruptions. Expect high heating bills. Expect prolonged power outages in areas already affected. This is a marathon, not a sprint. You need to prepare for at least 10 days of winter conditions that are harsher than normal. Now let's talk about the specific weather timeline for this week, day by day, so you know exactly what to expect. Monday. Snow winds down across New England during the morning. By afternoon, only lake effect snow continues across western New York, northwest Pennsylvania, and Michigan. Arctic air spreads into the northeast Monday night. Clear skies, calm winds, and fresh snow cover will allow temperatures to plummet. This is when we see those record lows Tuesday morning. Tuesday. Arctic air is fully locked in across the entire eastern 2/3 of the country. Clear skies, light winds. Temperatures remain well below freezing all day across Tennessee, Kentucky, Arkansas, Oklahoma, and areas northward. This is the day when the lack of melting becomes really apparent. Ice from last week's storm will remain firmly in place. Wednesday. Still very cold, but we start to see some high clouds increase across the southern plains as the next system approaches. Temperatures moderate ever so slightly, but still below normal everywhere east of the Rockies. Thursday. Clouds increase across Arkansas, Tennessee, and Kentucky. Snow develops Thursday evening and continues through Friday morning. This is the snow event I mentioned earlier. Temperatures remain cold, but not quite as extreme as Monday and Tuesday. Friday. Snow ends across the mid-Atlantic by mid-morning. Arctic air plunges south again. By Friday afternoon, temperatures are crashing across the plains. This is the second major Arctic blast. Friday night into Saturday morning will be brutally cold, potentially the coldest of the entire pattern in many locations. Saturday. Widespread temperatures below zero across the Great Plains and upper Midwest. Single digits in teens across the Ohio Valley and Mid-Atlantic. 20s across the southeast. Possible coastal storm approaches from the south, but track remains uncertain. Sunday. Coastal storm potential continues. If it develops close to the coast, snow for D.C. to Boston. If it stays offshore, just clouds. Arctic air remains firmly in place. Very cold temperatures continue. That brings us to next Monday, February 3rd, which is where confidence decreases substantially. Models diverge significantly beyond day 7, but the overall pattern suggests cold continues with additional snow chances possible midweek. I want to end this forecast by addressing a question I've gotten dozens of times in the last hour. Is this climate change? Here's the honest answer. Climate change is making temperature extremes more variable. We're seeing the jet stream become wavier, which allows both extreme heat and extreme cold to penetrate farther from their typical locations. So yes, a changing climate could be contributing to the pattern that allows Arctic air to plunge this far south. However, Arctic outbreaks in late January are not unusual. They happen. What is somewhat unusual is the persistence and the multiple waves. But attributing any single weather event to climate change is difficult and frankly not my area of expertise. What I do know is that the weather pattern developing over the next 10 days is real, it's dangerous in some locations, and you need to prepare accordingly. Make sure you're subscribed to this channel because I will have updates tomorrow morning and potentially tomorrow evening depending on how models trend with the weekend coastal storm. I'll also be providing daily updates through at least Friday. Comment your city name below right now. Tell me what you're seeing, what you're experiencing, what questions you have. I read every single comment and I reply to as many as possible. If you found this forecast helpful, share it with friends and family. This information could literally save lives. When temperatures drop below zero, when wind chills hit 30 or 40 below, frostbite happens in minutes. People need to know what's coming. The most important thing you can do right now is prepare. Don't wait until Thursday to realize you need supplies. Go today. Get what you need. Check on neighbors. Bring pets inside. Protect pipes. Charge devices. And remember, this is a marathon. 10 days of persistent cold, multiple snow chances. It's going to be challenging, but we'll get through it together. I'll see you in the next update. Stay warm, stay safe, and thank you for trusting me to bring you this critical weather information.